Hello, welcome to the Daily Bible Podcast. My name is William Hemsworth. Thank you so much for joining me for today's show. Well, first of all, I want to apologize for no show last week. Got some new technology and time got away from me, so my apologies. So going forward, here we are. We're continuing on in Matthew chapter 22. Today we're going to look at verses 11 through 14. And these verses actually conclude the parable of the marriage feast or the wedding feast in some translations. And those verses say, "But when the king came in to look at the guests, he saw there a man who had no wedding garment. And he said to him, 'Friend, how did you get in here without a wedding garment?' And he was speechless. Then the king said to the attendants, 'Bind him hand and foot and cast him into the outer darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. For many are called, but few are chosen.'" So as I said before with the verses preceding this, these verses talk about Jesus' role in salvation history. And of course, the king here is God. And this wedding garment that's mentioned in today's verse is a symbol of righteous deeds that accompany faith. And Matthew goes on later into his gospel describing what these works are. And so we have almsgiving, which is mentioned in chapter 6. Prayer, also mentioned in chapter 6. Fasting, also mentioned in chapter 6. And works of mercy, which are mentioned in chapter 25, which we'll get to in the next few weeks. And what's interesting is that now remember, this is all about Jesus' role in salvation history. And Pharisees and Sadducees, the Jewish leaders of the time, have a very important role in this parable. Because, they persecuted the Old Testament prophets. And here we see at the end of the parable that they're bound hand and foot and cast into the outer darkness. Because they didn't show that faith. They didn't show that mercy. They didn't show that fruit of forgiveness, that fruit of faith that is done through Jesus Christ. So let's look at our lives today in regards to this parable. How do our lives reflect our faith? Is our faith something that's only lived out on Sundays when we go to church? Is it something that's only lived out when we're around Christian friends? If those are the only time that your faith is manifested, you see there's a problem. Our faith should dictate how we live at all times. Not what some politicians think, how I have my faith and then my politics are totally separate. No, our faith should inform every aspect of our lives. So does it? That's something to look and meditate on today. God bless you. Thank you for joining me on this episode of the Daily Bible Podcast. Please visit my website, williamhemsworth.com. Have a great day.